Sometimes the hardest truth is not being unloved. It's realizing your feelings no longer matter. For a long time, Claire had made one thing clear without ever saying it out loud. My emotions were optional. A box to check, not a person to consider. Every argument ended the same way. Every disappointment was swallowed. That I learned how to stay quiet. I learned how to accept less and call it love. That Thursday, I was supposed to fly to Chicago for a trade show. At least, that's what Claire believed. But that morning, standing at the airport with my suitcase in hand, something inside me shifted. For the first time in years, I asked myself one question asterisk, what if I chose myself? Just once. Asterisk. Wednesday night, I kissed Claire goodbye like always. That I told her I'd call when I landed in Chicago. She believed me. That I drove to the airport. That I checked in. But instead of boarding the flight to O'Hare, I walked to another terminal. I bought a one-way ticket to Cancun. The same trip we had planned for our anniversary. The one that was supposed to happen next Monday. I went alone. I told no one. At the gate, I turned off my phone. For the first time in years, the noise of expectations went silent. When I arrived, I sat on a balcony overlooking the Caribbean Sea, holding a cold drink in my hand. The sky was wide, the ocean endless, and inside me, something unfamiliar appeared. Freedom. Not freedom from Claire, but freedom from the man I had become with her. The man who accepted crumbs. The man who ignored his own worth. That man stayed behind. This man watched the sunset in Mexico. Thursday passed, then Friday, then Saturday. I explored the resort alone. I ate dinner at an oceanfront restaurant with only the sound of waves for company. I rented a kayak and paddled until the shore became a thin line on the horizon. I finished a book I had been trying to read for 2 years. No meetings, no pretending, no explaining myself to anyone. Claire still believed I was in Chicago, shaking hands with buyers and sitting through presentations. There were no frantic messages yet, no suspicion, and I didn't correct her, because for the first time in a long time, I felt like I could breathe. On Saturday night, I met a woman named Jasmine at the hotel bar. She was on vacation with friends. She had an easy laugh that made strangers feel like old friends. That we talked for hours, about nothing important, and about everything. She asked why I was there alone. I thought for a moment, then said, I needed to remember who I was. She smiled and asked, did you find him? I said, I'm getting there. Nothing inappropriate happened. We didn't cross any lines. We just talked. But something powerful happened that night. For the first time in years, I felt seen. Not as a husband, not as a provider, not as the man who accepts silence, just as myself. That trip didn't fix my marriage. It didn't give me all the answers. But it gave me something more important. Perspective. I realized I had been living as a smaller version of myself. A man who believed love meant disappearing. A man who thought staying quiet was strength. But real love does not erase you. Real love sees you. Sometimes, freedom doesn't mean leaving someone else. It means returning to yourself. I watched the sun sink into the ocean that night. I understood one simple truth, asterisk. You don't find yourself by running away. You find yourself by finally listening. Asterisk. And that was the beginning of everything.